And you know,
There we
it's
go.
always the toss of the dice if it actually goes.
Well, you're the expert. It always works, right?
And there's been a couple times where it didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Always.
Live.
Toss of the dice.
There we go.
All right.
We are live on YouTube
Thank
with
you.
Mr. George Hamilton. How you
How
doing
you
today,
doing,
sir?
George?
Glad to see you. How's everybody?
We're great.
Yeah, we're doing very, very well. The question is, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great for a young man. This can't be beat.
How old are you now?
If I'd have known 100-year-old would be this much fun, I'd have turned 100 2 years ago.
I love it. I love it. I love
It's
it.
just great.
Hey, George, at 100 years old, how do you have so much energy and so much enthusiasm for life still?
How do I have it?
Yeah, like how do you have it? Like what gets you up every morning and just say, you know what, let's go at it. Let's enjoy. Let's go and enjoy life.
I have a routine that I go by the first 3 minutes I get up, and that takes me all day. I get up, I put my feet on the floor, I look up to the sky, and I say, thank you, Lord, for one more day. And if you do that every day long enough, you'll get to be 100.
All
Just
right.
thank the Lord for one more day.
Amen. Amen.
And from there, things just get better. And
Nice.
anytime you get lonesome or want to have a pity party, just look up at the Lord and he'll take care of you.
All right. All right. You guys heard it there from Mr. George Hamilton. You heard it there.
Years of experience.
Many, many years of experience.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking good today. Did you come back from church?
Yeah, we came in, had lunch and fellowship with, Donna didn't hear this, Donna, the caregiver that Delta furnished me came over for the weekend. And we just got through visiting together where everything's good.
Yeah. So his caretaker from the Normandy program
Right.
was a Delta employee, and he came and visited him, which I think that's so cool that they're still keeping that connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the connection is important. That's really special. That really is special. We're so proud to have so many incredible veterans from Delta being part of the Normandy program, and hopefully in the future continue that partnership, because I think this is good, connecting generations, and it's just amazing what the work that they do.
It is.
For sure. For sure. Well, cool. Well, let's get right into it. We got people waiting to
All
meet
right.
you, and they want to talk to you and ask you questions.
Are you ready, George? Are you ready, George?
I'm ready.
Oh, he's
I'll
ready.
answer the best I can, and I'll give them an honest answer every time.
All right.
I
So
love
for
it.
everybody watching, how we do this is we've posted a link to Zoom in the YouTube chat section. So if you want to join on Zoom and ask George a question, click that link. You'll get in the waiting room and we'll let you know if you're coming in. So right now we're going to start off with Nathan, our friend in Ireland. We'll bring him on in. So George, you're going to have people from all over the world coming on here.
Sounds
So,
good.
If you can't understand them, we'll some of them have funny accents like Nathan.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hey Nathan,
Can you hear me?
we can hear
I
you.
hear you.
That's good. As long as you can
You
hear
are
me,
on
that's
live with Mr. George Hamilton, 100 years old.
Well, tell them how old you are and where you're from, Nathan.
I'm 13 and I'm from Galway, Ireland.
Good.
Yeah, from Ireland.
From Galway, Ireland.
Long distance phone call.
What
So
can
how-
I help you with?
Nathan, go ahead and you got the floor. Go ahead and ask George a question.
When the ship was tilted, what was going through your head?
I looked down and saw about 8 feet of the water under deck. And the only thing I could think about was, I'm going to get wet when it comes back up. I didn't get scared. because we were doing what we thought was right to do, and whatever came along, and you took it as it come.
Mm.
Is that?
That's a good answer.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I like
Oh, George, I love that.
No, but
song.
that's good advice because a lot of people would think differently, right? They won't focus on that. They'll focus on what's in front of them and have the fear, and I think react differently. What gave you that, George? What gave you that sense of knowing that it was going to be okay?
Okay, well, to begin with, my generation was so, when Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, every man and boy knew that they had to do something to right the ship. And when we went to basic training in the Navy, the first thing they taught us was to obey orders. And when you take that frame, that mind of frame, and use it in disasters, if you will, you know that somebody has your back. And aboard ship, any rate higher than me could tell me what to do, and I'd obey. And who could get more higher than a captain of a ship? It was his problem to right that ship and save me.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that if I followed orders, I'd be in good hands.
Well, that's some good advice for kids and parents, right? I mean, Austin,
Right.
you are a father, and Nathan, I'm sure you have a mother and father as well.
Yeah.
Is it kind of the same in the family structure that it is in the military?
Who are you asking that question to?
Yeah.
I'm throwing it out there. I'm throwing it out there. Obey the
I mean, I feel that though. I feel that though as a parent,
Yeah.
like, you know, I hope my kids feel that same sense that, you know, that I'm making the calls I'm making and the stuff I'm saying is the right decision for them, you know, and
Yeah.
that I'm not going to steer them in the wrong direction. You know, sometimes they don't listen, and then
Right.
they find out real fast, you know, that I was right. Shoot, you know what I'm saying?
And you always take the attitude that if you can help someone else, it's going to help you.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't bless someone unless you get blessed yourself. So that's the way it is in the service. If you obey orders, you're going to be respected for it.
Very cool.
Great
Very
advice.
cool. So Nathan, what's your plans for the future? What are you looking at, like, as a 13-year-old kid right now? Are you thinking of like service? You have college ambitions? What's going on with you?
something with engines or like mechanical. That's what my dream is.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I remember when I was your age, all I wanted to do was make videos. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted to do. And that's all I ever did. And that's all I've ever done.
And when I was your age, all I wanted to do was knock out quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
And that's
And
what I
all
did.
I wanted to do when I was 13 was hit a baseball.
There you go.
Oh yeah, and you did that.
Yeah.
You had a
did.
career in baseball after the military, didn't you?
Yes. And that was another pleasure, if you will. Back in those days, you had to work yourself up step by step to get to the major leagues, and you had to start at a young age. So I was too old when I started, but I just wanted to play to make sure that I could have been eligible to play. And I played a half a season in the Boston Red Sox organization. And in that half a season, I made the All-Star team.
Nice.
So I guess maybe I could have gone a little bit higher, maybe not to the majors, but it satisfied my own.
Nice.
Well, you think if you didn't, George, you think if you didn't join the service, you would have had more years to develop your baseball prowess?
I would have, but hey, I don't regret it. I don't regret the time that I spent in service and what it cost me, because when I think about it, I think about all those people who didn't come home, the heroes of the war, if you will.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we remember them fondly, and live our
Right.
lives and in the best we can to show appreciation for those guys that paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Well, Nathan, you have another question?
No, but my cousins were over from America recently, and they were telling me that their neighbor was a vet in the Second World War, and when Pearl Harbor happened, they were told to throw everything that wasn't needed overboard. So they're going into the toilets and getting rid of everything in there, and the kitchens and everything, and just throwing them overboard.
Like on the ships?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Really?
On his ship. Yeah, so they went in and they got tiles and stuff, and they threw them overboard to make themselves lighter.
Oh, so they could move faster?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
No, I haven't. That makes sense, though.
Yeah,
Well,
interesting.
Yeah.
Remember what ship he was on?
no, I didn't. I don't know what ship he was on though.
No.
Wow.
So when are you going to get?
That would have been a sight.
Yeah, that's interesting. So when are you planning on coming to the States?
I don't know. We're talking about when I'm older or something. They're thinking about next year and stuff, convincing us to go next year. Me, my brother, and my cousin.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, would.
Yeah. Come over
Yeah.
here and meet some veterans in person.
Yeah, would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you think you would like to visit Pearl Harbor?
Yes, very much would.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
would be cool. It's a cool place to visit.
Well, George
Yeah.
Hamilton is out there with Best Defense Foundation with 63 of his brothers and sisters this past December for the 80th anniversary. Am I right, George?
that's right. And it was a great, great trip. I learned a lot. But we had a little joke going on about what impressed me more about Pearl Harbor than anything else. And you'd never guess what it is. I
Dancing
fell in
skills?
love. I fell in love with a dome tree. I
Dome.
saw a dome tree that looked like it had been manufactured, but I knew it was the Lord's work. It was perfect in every description.
Huh.
And I just thought, but I would like to tell you one little thing about our trip to Pearl Harbor. You know, they had the Arizona Memorial quarantine. We couldn't go there, but we had to ride out in the channel on a boat. I could look to my right and see the Arizona Memorial. Look to my left, and there was the Missouri where the war had ended on it. And then I said, how much better can it get? I looked straight ahead, and there was a warship that was to be commissioned the next day. So I had the past, the present, and the future to look at. And it was great.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's amazing because that's what it all is, especially in the military in our country. You know, we have the past, you and your brothers and sisters who fought so hard 78, 80 years ago to give us opportunity today. You have our present military that are out there active duty, defending our freedoms and opportunities around the world in our best interests. And you also have the future. You have 13-year-old kids who are spending their Sunday mornings talking with the
Sunday
Better.
night.
Sunday night. Yeah, that's right. Sunday night. But, finding interest in what you did so many years ago. How does it make you feel when you have like young kids like Nathan, who's 13 years old, living in Ireland, interested in what you did 78 years ago?
It makes me proud, and I wonder sometimes, did I do enough, And it thrills me that young people still recognize what we did. In so many instances nowadays, children or teenagers are not taught to respect World War II or things that happened before and since. And let me say this to anybody, veterans, military, civilians. when you see a veteran, give him a smile and he'll love it. If you see a serviceman, thank him for your service, because their service is as important today as I was during World War II.
Mhm. For sure. Good. That's good.
Well said. Well
Good
said.
stuff. You know what impressed me the most at Pearl Harbor, George?
What is that?
Your dance moves. I remember watching you dance. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I was like, this guy's got moves.
Well, I tell you what, the camera didn't get down to my feet. So I just wiggled and waved and let the lady do all the dancing around, and I just was faking it all because I was afraid I'd fall.
I'm pretty sure I got my camera down and got some foot shuffles, but
Okay. All right.
well, cool. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
Next, we're bringing in David. So, Nate, I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah,
Thank you
see
for
ya.
joining. And also, Nathan, did you get your shirt? Did you receive your
No.
t-shirt? Huh?
No, I have not gotten no shirts. No
Okay.
shirts.
And you sent your address, correct?
Pardon?
You sent
Send
your
them.
information,
Oh
right?
yeah, I will. I will.
All right.
I'll send it to you.
All right, don't forget.
Thanks.
Cool. All
Thanks
right.
for joining,
Nate.
bud. Thank you very
See ya.
much.
Bye.
Yeah. All right.
Pretty
Well,
cool,
George,
huh, George?
I'm
Great.
trying to find that dancing video that you had. I'm trying to find that little dancing video. I know I have it somewhere. Oh, and I have it right here.
It's out there.
Oh, I'm sending it right now to you, Austin. You have it right now.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Just so everybody can see what we're talking about.
All right. Well,
This is actually pretty cool. You talk about having energy. That's why I asked you.
oh, there we
like,
go.
At your age, you have so much motivation and drive and enthusiasm for life. It's just amazing. It really
Well-
gives hope, all of us. I know. You got
When
it,
you
Austin?
I'm working on it. We'll
I
get
have-
it.
I
We'll
have
get it going.
friends that- I have friends that make me want to do more than I can do, and I'll just tell you this: the friends I have here in Pleasant Grove, Alabama, they do not treat me like 100-year-old. They treat me like, well, I was about 70, and include me in all the activities, and that's what keeps me on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nothing that I do is what they do.
Well, it's always great to have a group of people that love you, that care for you, that you can share your life with. It's amazing. I'm really happy
Sure.
you came into our lives now in the Best Defense Foundation family. So now you're one of ours.
Yes.
That's right.
And you added one when you added me, you added one with my caregiver, Robbie Wood. He is the finest man that you'll want to meet. And he and his little wife, Vicky, if I need anything, all I have to do is let them know about it.
Nice. Okay. Well, here's a little footage we're talking about. Look at that guy. Look at that smile and that energy.
Hey, I remember that episode there. That was when the 800 cheerleaders showed themselves there and gave us a
That's
show.
right. That was like, that came
Who
out of
couldn't
nowhere. It's like, where did all
Who
these
couldn't
girls
be
come from?
happy about that?
You got to show us those those dance moves.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring somebody else.
All
on.
right. We're bringing David in.
David. All right. David, if you hear us. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. David Trail with 2 L's. Trail with 2 L's.
I don't know David Trail.
You know David Trail?
I do.
Oh.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, but you're completely dark.
I'm dark.
We can't see it. It's just a
We
black
can't
screen.
camera.
Well, that's odd because
Yeah.
I said let's load up with everything.
Weird. Yep. We've got a black screen.
My video
hear
screen,
ya.
you got it?
We
No,
can
we-
hear you, but we just can't see you.
Yeah, your video's not on camera.
Wow, for some reason this is also
Well,
Yeah, we,
you can go ahead and ask a question.
Crud. All right, I'm gonna try stopping the video and then restarting it. Hang on.
Still black screen.
Yeah.
All right, not going on, but George, it was a pleasure to meet you in Pearl Harbor.
yeah.
And my question for you, sir, is I'm sure you get a lot of questions about action and things like that, but what was it like being a sailor aboard a destroyer? You know, daily life and food and how you slept, and you know, could you describe? It's not a cruise ship on a destroyer. What was that
Not
like?
really. Okay. The destroyer I was on to begin with was commissioned in 1923. It was designed for a crew of 105 men and officers. We had 242 there. So we had to kind of double up a little bit. I had a top bunk, and it was so close to the overhead that I could not turn over in it. So I had to sleep in the
Jeez.
same position I got in, on my back or my stomach. But it didn't bother me. We had that ship was so old. We had we didn't have a mess tent as such, or a mess room as such, or dining room. No, everything was. We had 2 compartments for enlisted personnel, and everything went on in those 2 compartments. But we had companionship with our shipmates, and you got along with some you didn't get along with, but you had to make do in all circumstances. And my idea was, if this is what I got to live with, why not enjoy it?
It's a good attitude.
Great attitude. Great attitude.
Right on.
And if you enjoy stuff, your life's a whole lot easier and better, and you feel better than you do if you can. And you know, you can find fault anywhere. I know people, if they want to find fault, they look at me, and then they can find all they need there. And I hope they don't get mad at me,
Yeah.
because I love people, and I like to talk to people.
So, George, how'd you get that perspective? Did you receive that from your parents, from the church? I mean, to have that perspective that you had at such a young age, where'd that come from?
Growing up during the Depression, you learn. I think the more I think about it, the more I know we were privileged to be living during the Depression years, and we didn't have anything, not much of anything. And I would guess maybe 10% of the population made what we would call a good living or rich. The rest of us were poor, but we didn't know it because everybody around us was in the same spot. We respected each other. And the idea was, during those years, if you had 2 biscuits and your friend didn't have any, you would give him one. And if he had 2 and you didn't have one, you would expect one from them. And it was just universal, really. And of course, there were sorry people then, but very few of them.
Yeah.
that I ran into.
Great way to live.
No, it's a great way to live, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Because if everyone around you is kind of like in the same boat as you are, and you all trying to survive and push forward, you work together on a team.
Yeah.
Get on the ship, and like I did on the football field as well. You work together as a team, and thank you for sharing that.
Can I ask a follow-up,
sure.
George?
Life is that way also.
Yes.
We may not realize it, but that's the way it is.
For sure. Well, cool. David, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So George, you've had the opportunity to go out to Pearl Harbor and Normandy with the BDF and be royally treated. But, in these later years, what has recognition of your service and recognition of veterans in general meant to you?
To be a veteran of World War II is a feeling of necessity You feel like you were needed during those times. And there was a foe that we had to dispose of. And everyone, boys and girls, women and men, everybody wanted to do whatever they could to bring that to a close. And the housewives were as important as the riflemen were on the field. There was nobody that was doing a job that wasn't needed or appreciated. And that's what I remember with pride, not what I did, but what we as a nation did together. And I think for maybe that was the only time, especially in my lifetime, that there was friendship, genuine friendship and respect in the United States. And everybody had one goal in mind, and that was for the betterment of the world, for the betterment of the people in our country. And next to the Lord Jesus Christ, that stars and stripes that we fly are as important to me as anything else. And anybody that disrespects them is on my list, and it's not a good list.
Wow, that's good.
No,
Hey, David, we can finally see you. Now I recognize you.
yeah.
How's it going, guys?
Horrible names, but
Good, George.
now I see you were Dick Ramsey's caretaker, right?
I was. Good memory on
All
your part.
right.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
No,
Yeah, we got to ride on the bus with George, and it was a pleasure having these two sailors talk with each other about life on a destroyer versus life on a battleship. And
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you get veterans together, it's a treat. But these two gentlemen were fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
for
I say veterans, when they get together, they don't lie. They just stretch the truth a little bit.
Nice, nice.
Oh,
Well,
I
David,
like-
thanks for coming by, man.
Well, it's
Yeah.
great to see you
See
guys.
ya.
Hope to see you again.
Yeah. for
Thank you,
sure.
George. Be well.
Thank you, David.
All right. Cool.
Hey, George, I was just thinking right now when you were talking, I was trying to, I was thinking about what you said about when the country was together, right? When you had that feeling of what the country was. And,
Yeah.
you know, in my years of my life here as an American, I think we got a little taste of that at a younger generation with 9/11. So I
Yeah.
remember 9/12, right after that, on what the country was and how close we were, how bonded we were together. And it was amazing. There's so much patriotism and pride to stick together, to overcome. And I can imagine that was like a little taste of what we had, of what you guys had during World War II. That's
Yeah.
what I think of.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right there. That's
For
the nearest
sure.
that the country came to getting together since World War II.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get back there.
And why
For
does it
sure.
always take a tragedy to make the people feel that way, you know?
Yeah.
It really is a shame that it takes tragedy to bring us all together.
It does. Yes, it
sometimes.
does.
But all right, we're gonna bring in Connor next. So
All right.
Connor, here's your heads up. Be ready, be well. If I call your name, always just be ready on Zoom. So when the camera clicks on, you're not, going to the bathroom or something weird. All right. Bring in Connor.
So George, this flag here it's a 48-star flag. It's been all over the world on all our programs. It's
Everywhere we've gone.
been to Apache, it's been to Tunisia, to Burgess Garden, and it's been everywhere. And I understand what you mean about red, white, and blue in our flag.
For sure. Hello, Connor.
Connor, how you doing?
How you doing, guys? I'm doing very well.
Nice. Well, you're on with Mr. George Hamilton. Introduce yourself. Tell him how old you are, where you're from.
Well, Mr. Hamilton, my name is Connor Ritchie. I am 17 years old from Louisiana, which is 3 hours away from West Monroe, where you came from.
He's
Oh.
in Louisiana.
He's in Louisiana, bless your heart. Hey, it's good to hear that there's still people coming from West Monroe and vicinity.
Yeah.
It's good. What
So-
can I do for you?
So I have a few questions for you. Are you ready for that?
Oh, he's
Mhm.
ready.
So, sir, since I'm interested in genealogy and family ancestry, who were your parents' names, and did you have any siblings?
My parents' name were Roy and Beulah Hamilton.
Beulah. I love that name. I haven't heard that. name.
Yeah.
Beulah.
And by the way, my dad lived to be 105.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I had a brother and a sister. And of the five of us, I'm still the only one living. Of course, I was the baby of the family. And but I had good parents and good siblings. And of
Did
course,
any of your brother or sister serve?
my brother served in the Army.
Okay.
And actually, he went in the service before I did. And he was lucky or unlucky. I don't know. I always say that because non-combatants were lucky that they didn't have to dodge enemy fire, but unlucky that their service, they'd wanted to do better. I know I did. But he went in the Army and became an MP and stayed in Florida for the whole war.
Okay.
But hey, someone was needed there also.
It's like you said, everybody was doing something.
Something had to be done there, yes.
It's a team. It's a team for sure. A lot of moving parts.
So
Oh.
I've heard several stories about the Great Depression in 1929 to 1939, and I also heard that there was a lot of people that were on the soup lines waiting for soup. Do you remember that type of event? And you remember what you had to go through during the Great Depression?
I remember very well the Great Depression, but that time I was living in Alabama, in rural area. And when I say rural area, at the end of the road, so to speak. So yes, everybody was hungry, really. But I never was around any place where they had soup lines. We was in a little village, and there was a busy railroad car come through there. Trains came through there, but and a lot of men got off. We called them hobos, but what they were doing was people that couldn't find work or anything in their area, and they were just out hunting something, and they'd get off the trains, and everyone had the same question: what can I do for something to eat? And they were willing to work for something to eat. But hey, that's where America was great, because if you had anything, you shared it with anybody, whether you knew them or not.
Wow.
And there's anything else I could say, or you have another question along those lines?
I have a couple more questions. Since you enlisted in the Navy, you were part of the V-12 group. Can you explain what V-12 is?
Yeah, V-12 was a program that the Navy instituted after the war started, and they took enlisted men, sent them to school for a couple of years, and then made gentlemen out of them, and they commissioned them as ensigns in the Navy. It was an officer's training school, if you will. But I didn't finish. It didn't work with me. I didn't want to be an officer anyway. But
Did you come out a gentleman?
well, that's still debatable.
That's debatable. That's debatable.
But I enjoyed it. I went to college for 3 semesters. Oh, and I have a claim to fame athletic. I know Donnie was a great football player, and probably will be in the may be in the Hall of Fame one of these days, David. And, at 5, Donnie will appreciate this. I was 5 feet, 8.5 inches tall and lettered in college basketball. I weighed 145 pounds and lettered in college football. And I played a half a year of professional baseball. How good I was, I could say, because there's nobody around to dispute me now, but I wasn't.
You
Yeah.
have the
Who's
last.
gonna say something? They're all gone.
You have the
Yeah.
last word.
That's kind of the nice part of being the last man standing. You can kind
And
of
that's so, you
make
know,
up whatever you want.
yeah. Who's to dispute it?
That's,
Yeah,
that's
Oh.
true.
awesome.
I also heard that you fought in the North Pacific. And do you recall what your assignment was during that time? And can you talk about some of your experiences in the North Pacific?
Oh, yeah. We were actually, it took me a long time to realize this, but we were the last defense for invasion of the West Coast. We had patrol duty along the Aleutian Islands and down the West Coast of America. And that's what we were there for. And I'll give you a couple of incidents. One is the weather was our biggest enemy. We had winds over 100 miles an hour. If the waves were less than 6 feet high, it was a calm sea. We were stopped dead in the water one time by a 40-foot wave that hit us.
Oh my
And
God.
then another time, our ship rolled to listed, if you will, 57 degrees. And they said if we'd have gone another degree, we wouldn't come back up. And that's when I told David a while ago, that's where I got wet. But anyway, I'll give you one other thing here. The Japanese put out a false report that they were sending a task force along the Aleutian Islands to invade the United States. This was in 1943 when they were going to have a big invasion in the South Pacific, but they wanted the United States to send their fleet to the North Pacific, but they didn't. And they sent our ship out to meet the task force that was coming in supposedly from Japan. And our orders were, these are the way the captain got on the PA system and the way he told us. Our orders are to report the number of ships, the types of ships, fire torpedoes, and ram the nearest ship to us. Fortunately, we didn't see them. Because if we had, when you ram a ship and board it, that's the last step.
Oh geez.
And we didn't have to take that.
Wow.
And my last question is, what was it like to come home after going through such an horrific battle that had to do with the weather being the enemy that was just as bad as the Battle of the Bulge itself? What was it like to come home after all these horrific events that you had to go through?
A relief, gladness that you got home and you could talk to people about and what I've been telling here couldn't have been told during the war. We had absolutely secrecy about everything. And that's what it took me a long time to realize that how much times had changed the way they do. They got television cameras now on the front lines, and we couldn't tell anybody anything, not where we were, what direction we was going. I was a radar man, and I could not tell my family what the word radar stood for.
Oh, wow.
Everything's in secret.
Wow.
So what was your transition like for you? Because a big part of what we do with the Best Defense Foundation is help veterans transition, and we talk about that. It's a big thing we do. So for you, What was it like transitioning back to civilian life over the coming years after that?
Well, that's hard to explain from my point of view, at least, because maybe I always say I'm different from most people, but to me it was like stepping from one room into another room, and you accepted what you were stepping into and forget about that. It's past.
Okay.
And just I mean, when I say forget about it, it's in your activities. You have to have your activities today, not yesterday.
It didn't influence your current activity.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting.
No.
All right. Well, cool. Well, Connor, always good to see you. You want to say one last thing?
Sure. Well, George, it's an honor and a privilege to meet you and some of the last surviving greatest generation people. It's always a joy to hear your stories before you pass on, because like I said last time, we're the future. If we don't pass it on to younger generation, the future generations, then how they're going to know about the war? That's the main thing that people in those days are missing. So God bless you. Thank you for your service, and I wish you the best of luck, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, and keep that.
Glad we got
attitude.
people like you, Connor.
Yeah, keep that attitude about telling people about the past.
That's
It
right.
seems now that the generation in operations now want to change everything. It's at least if it's over 40 years old, they want to change it.
Yeah.
Got all people are changing street numbers and cities and statues and everything else that's going along. If they're over 40 years old, they're out of date. But remember what happened before you got here, and carry it on, and make sure the people after you remember you.
Very good.
Well, Connor, you're the next generation. You're the ones that are going to be leading the charge and understanding history now, and making sure others your age are doing the same is going to continue what George's generation started many years ago and keep it going for America. So thank you always. You're growing up every time I see you.
I
You
know.
get
So
older. You got the haircut now, I see.
Yeah.
oh yeah. All right.
That's
Well,
wonderful.
cool.
Good.
See you, Connor. All right. I love it. Love it.
Oh.
Good
He's
stuff.
not far away from you, George. He's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the way he talked about what he's going to do and what he's doing, and just hope he can pass it on to a bunch of people that are just multiply.
Yeah, but what about his questions and how specific his questions were?
Yeah,
right?
He
read
did
your
research
bio.
on you before you got
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
came on.
Oh yeah. They do. Oh yeah. They search you up all over.
You can't hide nothing anymore.
yeah.
All right. So we're gonna bring on Stanislaw next, and then after that it'll be Rock, and then after that it will be Michael.
Right.
So Stanislav Florzak. I probably screwed that up. I remember I got close last time.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
We connecting. He's coming.
Okay.
He's coming. All right.
All
I
right.
think I got it right. Stanislaw.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
Yes, sir.
All
That's
right.
correct. Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
You're
Good
live with Mr.
afternoon.
George Hamilton.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Hamilton. Good afternoon, everyone else. Well, good to see you again because I met you before,
Yes.
like a month ago.
Yep. And let George know where you're from and how old you are.
I am from Poland, the central part of Poland, and I am 16 years old. And my name is Stanislav.
Did you hear that, George?
I hear that from Poland.
16 years
Poland.
old.
16 years old. Oh,
Yes, sir.
great. That's great.
Very
Do you
cool.
know anything? Does he know anything about my generation?
Oh.
Um,
I'll ask him the first question.
well, I,
He's asking.
well, I think so.
He's asking.
Yes, I think so. I'm actually more interested in World War II veterans than the war itself. The topic of veterans of all wars it seems more interesting to me than actual wars themselves. And I have read much about World War II veterans. I've met some of them myself, Polish ones, of course, not the American. And so, yes, I think I know something.
Great, great. Now,
Very
you
cool.
have some questions.
Well, I have only two quick questions because I don't want others to wait for a long time
Go for it.
to get here. Well, first question is on which exact, because you served on a destroyer, on which exact destroyer did you serve?
What
Which
story?
destroyer did you serve on, George?
There was a USS King, and the number was DD-242. And it was a World War, actually, it was built after World War I. The United States was concerned that Germany would send submarines over for retaliation of World War I. And that destroyer was built to be an anti-submarine vessel. And we could handle any submarines at that time.
Oh, wow. Right on.
Interesting.
And were you on that ship the whole entire time of your service, George? Because I know, like,
No, I was on that ship for 16 months. You know, I get a kick out of it. I watched, they call it Deadliest Catch.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
It's a program about people hunting in the Bering Sea. They were sissies. They came in, they didn't go out up there in the wintertime. And I spent 2 winters up there. So they didn't get the good weather that we got.
Oh, geez.
But I spent 16 months up there, and I spent 12 months in school, and in 45 in May, I was on what we called a skeleton crew, putting a crew together for another destroyer that was being built at the time and we were to be a picket ship for the invasion of Japan.
Okay.
And before we could do that, my friend Harry, and I call my friend Harry President Truman, decided to drop the bomb. That saved about 2 million lives or 3 million lives the first day of the battle that would have been in Japan. So that's where I spent my time.
yeah, I know. I mean, your generation was tough because if you think about it, you were serving before Gore-Tex, right? Before Gore-Tex, before all this like new material that we have now. Keep ourselves warm, to keep ourselves from getting wet. I mean, what are some of the things that you guys wore to keep yourself dry and not get wet while on the ship in those seas?
Well, we dress ship on the dress on a destroyer. The dress of the day was we called them dungarees. They're blue jeans. What's blue jeans now? We have blue jeans and a blue shirt and a light jacket. And I guess we must have got used to the weather up there, but we had foul weather gear, and the people that had to stand out on the watch on the deck wore foul weather gear. The rest of us, we just didn't think about it really. If you got wet, you got wet. You got wet going on watch.
Yeah.
And see, the Navy is a little bit different from the Army or Marines in that if we didn't have a place to sleep, we wouldn't have needed it anyway, because it would have been on the bottom of the sea.
Mhm.
And that was one reason I went in the Navy instead of the Army, because I wanted a quiet place to sleep at night
Yeah.
and know where I was going to sleep.
Yeah. That's good. All right. What was your other question?
My other question, I already asked this question, the first veteran I talked to on this channel. And since you were born in 1920s, have you ever met a Civil War veteran?
Have you ever met a Civil War veteran?
And no, I haven't. I'm not quite that old.
When you were young, they might
Yeah,
have
when
seen
you're a
around.
kid. When you're a
When you were a
kid.
kid.
Yeah.
When I was young, the World War I veterans were the heroes for us.
Mhm.
And that's as far back as I can remember that I met anyone.
Let's see. In the 1920s, what would have the youngest Civil War veteran been? Most likely.
8 years old.
Yeah, they would have been pretty old.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were around, but yeah, you just never ran into one, huh?
Excuse me. Yes, that's right.
Wow. Cool. Right on. Well, Stanislaw, thank you for stopping by again.
So hold on a sec. So the last American Civil War veteran to die, his name was Albert Wilson. He died in 1956.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't know that. The last Civil War?
The
Yeah.
last Civil War.
Yes.
The last Civil War. His name is Albert Wilson.
1956.
Yeah, 1956.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that
Wow.
anybody was alive that long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think he was around 105 or 110 years old, if I remember correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
I don't know if you heard earlier, Stanislaw, but his dad lived to be 105. So I mean, they're not messing around in his family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I know.
We got plenty more years with you, George.
Yeah,
Go somewhere.
well, I got today.
There
I
you go.
plan ahead of time. I plan ahead of time, but
Yeah,
just take one day at a time.
that's right.
Good. You wake up every day with your routine. You put your feet on the
That's right.
floor. Up. Mhm. No,
Yeah.
we're taking notes for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
One more
Stanislaw, thanks for coming on. Thank you so much for being on our live stream. I think that you sent your information over to us, correct? Your address?
Yes.
Okay.
Right on.
Right on. Get that
Cool.
out.
All right. Well, we'll see you again soon, hopefully, Stanislaw.
Well, goodbye. Have a good day.
All right, you
Goodbye.
too.
Thank you for coming.
All the way from Poland. What do you think of that there,
Yeah.
George?
Well, if I'm ever in Poland, I'll look him up.
Yeah, you should. All right,
Yeah.
let's bring in, it just says rock.
Rock. Okay.
Well, let's find out. I think
Must
we've
be
had
tough.
rock before. I always love the names that people have on here.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's
Hi.
up? How's it going?
good. How about you?
Going great. We've met you guys before, right?
Yeah, we were.
last live stream.
Yeah, or
That's
the two
right,
live
that's
streams
right.
ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic.
I just see rock and I'm like, I know I've seen rock before.
Yeah, no, I tried
We
to
thought it
change
was
the name.
Dwayne
It just doesn't
Johnson.
change.
We thought it was Dwayne Johnson for a minute.
I know we were waiting for
Oh,
Dwayne
George.
Johnson to come on. Like, oh man, we got Dwayne Johnson joining the stream. Boom.
Yeah.
When we got back from Germany last year, we had an actor meet us at the airport from Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow,
Matthew
that's
Modine.
cool.
That was cool to meet Matthew Modine.
Yeah.
Young kids know him from Stranger Things, though.
Okay.
Well, cool,
we-
guys. You're on with
Go.
George Hamilton. Let them know where you're from and how old you are.
We're from Arlington, Virginia, and I'm 18. And
I'm 19.
Oh,
Nice. Well,
are you both rock?
You got George's attention.
yeah, so first off, we just want to say like thank you for your service, and yeah, it really means a lot. And my question is, did you serve with others from like other countries, or did you ever meet like foreign civilians?
We had, no, not really. I guess we had some people from the Philippines.
Oh,
And
okay, that's cool.
I'm not sure whether we had anybody from Mexico or not, but I can't remember any during my time where there was from other countries.
What about
Okay.
Puerto Rico? What about Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico, because I know like my grandfather on my dad's side is from Puerto Rico, and he was, yep, he was in the Navy.
Oh, well, see, I consider Puerto Ricans one of us,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, yeah, I think we did serve with some of those.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Wow.
what other questions you got?
Yeah.
Okay, I had a question. While you were in the Navy, when you were on the ship, how was the food situation like? What did you eat? What happened when times went rough? When the storm happened, what were you eating? What happened then? I'm interested to hear about that.
Yeah, when he wasn't vomiting and throwing up from the from being
From
seasick.
the seasickness, yeah.
You know, I was one of the lucky people who didn't get sick. Let's see, I got sick the first time we went out, and I was given a hint. Ship's cook told me that if you'd eat dry soda crackers when you felt like you was gonna get seasick, it would cure it all. And I kept soda crackers in my pocket all the time we were at sea, so I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick, but we had a lot of people that did. As far as the food, we had, you would not believe it, we had soup every day for lunch.
Every day
I
for
could
lunch.
live on
Oh,
Every day we had soup. It
I could
never
live on
got
the
too rough. You'd take your finger and put it under your tray and raise it and lower it as the ship rolled.
Oh,
Up and down to keep it level. And we thought nothing of it because that's the way it was. But we escorted a troop ship one time up there to Dutch Harbor, and we went on Liberty, and they said, "Are you from that ship out there?" Yes. Well, I know y'all must eat sandwiches every day because you couldn't have anything else. They couldn't do anything else as rough as it is in the way you were. But we had soup every day and we didn't think anything about the rolling of the ship because that was one thing we had to get used to.
Yeah.
If you're gonna live with it, you just well take the best of it.
Did soup just on bad days just go flying everywhere?
No,
Yeah.
we keep it in the bowl. We could keep it in the bowl by raising and lowering it, you know. It wasn't hard.
I'm sure on the
And
ship you
for-
get used to everything. After a while, you get used to everything, and being with
Yeah.
living with your brothers on a ship together in close quarters, and just making it work. You know,
Yeah.
making it work.
And what's it called? For like dinner, when you weren't having soup or even breakfast, for breakfast and dinner, what will you be eating? Or did you ever have a time where you had to resort to rations?
Well, no, but one time we got down and the ship's cook told us we got meat and one vegetable. And we wondered what the meat was going to be. But what it was black-eyed peas with worms in them.
Oh,
What?
Oh,
with worm. At the
Like
That
for
you're-
real?
protein.
They left us out on patrol duty beyond our capacity, really, because when we were going into port, we ran out of fuel. Also, so we ran out of fuel and supplies at the same time, but that's part of it also. And we were,
You had to eat worms?
well,
Or are we talking about a joke here?
if they wiggle, you wouldn't put them aside, you know.
Just
Oh
pull
my
them out.
god.
Pull them out. Oh, that's protein. That's protein, George.
Yeah.
Protein.
but
Good.
nobody got sick from it.
Oh, geez.
Wow. Wow. No wonder why you guys live so long. Your guts are so strong.
Oh,
A lot different
man.
than it is today.
Oh,
That's
it
awesome.
that didn't happen very many times.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But no, we didn't have rations or anything like that aboard ship.
All right. That's cool. All right, guys. Well, you got anything else that you wanted to ask?
I guess do you remember like what basic training was like? Like how would you guys
Yes.
doing it?
Yes, I took basic training in San Diego.
That's
And
where I'm at right now. I'm in
Yes,
San Diego right now. This is
Yeah,
my
and-
hometown.
the basic training plant was nothing but sand. And we got sand and everything. But let me tell you, back in those days, basic training was 16 weeks long. We went through in 3 weeks. That's what they needed. They needed personnel in the fleet. So we took it in 3 weeks for the 16
Wow, 3 weeks.
week.
Jeez.
And I was one of the lucky ones. I went to radar school, which was a 9-month course. And they told us when we got there, get what you can in 6 weeks and learn the rest of it aboard ship.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow. That's right.
And there
Jeez.
was a man, well, we were boys then, left Birmingham with me. And then 5 weeks later was killed in action aboard a battleship. That's how desperate they were for people, men. And we were just as desperate for weapons and trucks, equipment, all kind of equipment. There's just a shortage of it. And because our manufacturers didn't make anything like that before the war. But that's when Rosie the Riveter came into being. You know, when the ladies went to all the manufacturing companies and shipyards and everything to take the place of men so the men could go into service. And they were as important as we were.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's
For
true.
sure.
Pretty amazing. That training camp, the training, the basic training center in San Diego, Naval Training Center in San Diego is now called Liberty Station. They repurposed it. Yeah, they repurposed it, and now it's a bunch of shops and restaurants. They kept all the buildings there. So if you go back there today, George, you'll see it looks very similar to the buildings that were there. And this base, this Navy base was there from 23 until 1997.
Uh-huh.
Was there for quite a long time. And with the base realignment back in, I think when Clinton was president, when they closed a lot of bases and realigned everything, it got closed down. But the nice thing about it, it's a historic center, still to this day. It's called Liberty Station, and it's still there intact. And the buildings are just repurposed towards restaurants and things like that. But right there by the airport still, by Coronado, Rosecrans. I'm sure you remember Rosecrans and Barnett. It's just right there. So a little bit of history from the old Depot Center in San Diego.
Yeah. Okay.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, guys, thanks again for coming on. And if you want to say one
thanks.
last thing to Mr. Hamilton.
Just want to say thank you for your service. I'm glad we were able to talk to you and
Yeah.
learn about your experiences.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And it was my pleasure. And I've learned a new phrase to go along with that. It was my pleasure, and you were worth it.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice. All right,
18
thanks,
and
guys.
19 years old from Virginia, 18 and 19. This is the future, George. So when they are kids, when they're 100 years old and they're going to be on a live stream and kids 100 years from now that are 18 and 19 years old are going to ask them, hey, you're kind of old. Did you ever meet a World War II veteran? Like the question with the Civil War veteran.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
Well, you guys survived 2020. What was that like?
I know.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, guys.
That's awesome. All right. So next we're going to bring on Paolo. Then after that, Arthur. and after that, Isaac. So Paulo, Arthur, and
How you
Isaac.
doing there, George? You doing okay?
I'm doing fine.
You need a
Want
drink
some
of water or
water?
anything?
No water, nothing, huh?
Doing good?
I got it. Yeah, I've got something.
All right.
All right, all right.
Good. All
Care
right.
of the ones who
Paulo.
took care of. We believe in that. Taking care of the ones who took care of us.
That's right. Got to keep you guys hydrated.
That man right there, Eddie, Donnie, he can't be beat for helping people. Hello there.
Hello, Mr. George.
How are you doing? Good. Where are you from?
I'm speaking from Brazil.
Brazil. All right.
Yes, sir. I am 19. My name is Paulo. How are you today?
I am just fine.
Oh,
Just
great.
Yeah, we've
having
been
a ball.
Paulo, you've been coming on here since you were like 16, huh?
Yes, probably
Or
16,
16 or
17.
17,
It's been a while.
Yeah.
We're watching, hey, Austin, we're watching all these kids getting older and older. Like
I know, it's weird.
16. I mean, Connor's getting up there. He's,
I know, like his voice hasn't changed. He's had a deep voice probably since he was like 11, but man, he's looking a lot older now.
Now, George, have you ever been to Brazil?
Yeah.
George, have you ever been to Brazil?
Have you been to Brazil?
No, I've never been there. The nearest I got was Nicaragua. That's as far south as I've been.
Great.
All right. Well, Paulo, floor is yours.
Oh, well, first, Mr. George, thank you for your service. I really appreciate it, and it's an honor to be talking to you. And I have a few questions about your service experiences. Well, my first question is about the Aleutian Islands campaign. So you were on a destroyer, and how far from the Aleutian Islands were you patrolling?
We patrolled west about I'm guessing now. I'm guessing we were probably 100 miles west of the westernmost island. Because I say that because we navigated off of a mountain in, Vladivostok, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the mountain in eastern Russia, I think, but
Right.
that's what we navigated off of a Russian
mountain.
Mountain, yes.
Wow.
And what was it like for you to know that there were actually enemy troops on American soil?
It was not a very good feeling, to tell you the truth, because that was what we were there for, to keep them. You talking about the invasion of Attu, I guess, when it lasted. I saw a television program about it, and they said the battle lasted 30 days. It didn't last 30 days. It lasted 6 days. And the commanding officer of the Japanese invasion force ordered all of his troops to commit harikiri one day, 6 weeks after they'd landed there, 6 days after they had landed there, because of the weather. They knew that they couldn't get off anyway. We had everything blocked.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Impressive.
So the battle to reclaim Attu Islands was launched on May 11th, 1943. The Japanese made that banzai charge, as you talked about, on May 29th. They put their last effort in there, and they committed harikiri or a banzai charge.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we acquired a copy of the commanding officer's diary. He kept a diary every day, and we had that, and I kept that for years and years. And we had a tornado to go through Alabama in 2011, and it flattened my house down to the floor. and I lost a lot of stuff.
Oh, wow.
But and that I haven't found that since, so I guess it went off with them.
Oh man. Oh God. I wish we would have had a chance to digitize it, right? Because like once you digitize things now, it lasts forever. You know.
Yeah.
So you store the hard copy in a safe or someplace, but then you can digitize it, so it's still there. Unfortunately, God, what a bummer! What a bummer. But
Yeah.
going back to Aleutian Islands, we lost. The Allies lost like 1,500. 1,500 were killed in action, and the Japanese suffered about 4,400, 4,500 killed in action, and it went on for about a year. The battle went on for about a year, from June of 1942 through 43, August 43. So a lot of people don't know that there's a battle here in America, in Alaska, up there during World War II. It's kind of forgotten. So I'm glad that you were there, George, part of that, defending America on our homeland.
Oh, most people think it never reached U.S. soil, but I mean, most people don't even pay attention to what's going on in Alaska. But yeah, it hit us.
Yeah, that was the only territory that was ever invaded by an enemy.
Yeah.
But I have a little joke to tell about one experience we had in 1943.
All right.
On Easter Sunday, 1943, we got a report of a Japanese submarine off the coast of Vancouver. And we were the nearest ship there, so we took off. And we got a sonar contact, made a run, set off of what we called a full pattern of depth charges. It was 26 depth charges. We set them off, and I was on the bridge in general quarters, so I looked back, and I knew that was a rudder that came up. And it disappeared. I said, well, something else will come up. And sure enough, in a few minutes it did. The biggest whale you ever saw in your life came up, and we laid a full pattern of depth charges on him. So, we never did find that submarine.
Oh, jeez.
And back in those days, when you sunk a ship or downed airplane, you'd put a silhouette of it on the bulkhead of your bridge, and the captain wouldn't let us put a picture of a whale up there for some reason. We never could.
Just didn't seem right, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he
wow.
probably have a lot of explaining to do when he got back.
Yeah. Well, it's a good story nonetheless, right? The whale up there, like, is that a
Poor whale.
Is that a U2 German whale boat, or?
Yeah. And we contacted it at 900 yards, and that wasn't enough a length far enough back to do a lot of investigation. We just decided to drop the bomb, drop depth charges, and then check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Right.
But we had some fun. We had some fun with it.
What are some good meat that you can put in your soup, right? Some little whale
Soup.
in your soup. Just hold the tray up with your pinky
Yeah.
or your index finger.
Yeah. Well, cool. Paolo, you got another question?
Oh, yes, I have one more question, Mr. George. What were your expectations for the invasion of Japan? Because you've told us that you were supposed to be on a picket ship. And what was it like for you when you found out that you were supposed to be on a picket ship? What did you feel? Because I was watching an interview that you gave, and you said that it was kind of a suicide mission. If I'm not wrong, the picket ship was kind of spearheading. So what was it like for you when you found out about this?
Okay, I'll tell you why I said that. It was that the picket ship during World War II were the eyes and ears of the fleet, and you ran 50 to 75 miles in front of the ship, and it was your duty to report what you saw out there. And we were thrilled when we found out we were going to be a picket ship. That's how dumb we were. And we were thrilled that we were going to be the first in Tokyo. And Nagasaki is nowhere near Tokyo, but we were going to be the first ones there, you know. And we were wondering what kind of souvenirs we could get on in Tokyo on the beach, you know. And if we'd have had to go on in, we'd have never reached it.
Yeah.
Because we were reported everything and shot everything we was in sight until we got hit or something, you know. And but hey, we were young and full of vim, vigor, and vitality, and hey, thrilled that we were the ones that picked to go in first, because that would have made us heroes, and we could have got any girlfriend we wanted if we told them first ones there. That's that was our way of thinking, you know.
Like oh man. Every guy just charging into war, like, I'm gonna get so many girls from this.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever motivates
All I
you.
gotta do is survive.
That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta survive for sure.
Motivation comes from all the kinds of places, I guess.
But you can see, I think you know, and Donnie and them can tell you, that's the reason I have so much fun these days. It's all the experiences I had during the World War II and during the Depression. That was a great time too. A learning period then that got us ready for World War II. And hey, we survived that. We can do anything.
There you go. I've heard that before. I've heard that before. George, I heard from a lot of World War II veterans who said that, World War II, going through their service during World War II wasn't as difficult as it was going through the Depression. The Depression was much more difficult than World War II. And they said they got their strength from the Depression to say, hey, we made it through the Depression. We can make anything.
Anything. You're right. That's exactly right. Never forgot it.
That's good advice. That's good advice.
And it gives you a different attitude about yourself also if you go through a depression like that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not the big shot you thought you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Humbling.
How do you know who you are, right? How do you,
That's right.
how do you find yourself and resiliency to
And
battle back?
how dependent you are on other people also.
For sure. Well, cool. Paolo, always good to see you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Best Defense. Thank you, Mr. George. It was really a pleasure to be able to talk to you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure, and you're worth it.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. I love
Bye.
it. Bye.
All the way from Brazil. You know, Brazil was an ally of us during World War II. A lot of people forget, but the Brazilians fought in Italy with us.
They did?
Yeah. They fought in Italy. I think it was the only South American country that was part of World War II to fight with us against the Italians and Germans during World War II. So definitely an ally. It's great to see young kids like Paulo all the way from Brazil. I mean, think about this right now. You've been all around the world already in a short hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes we've been on right now.
Yeah.
You got these young kids, from all over the world, which is pretty amazing. Remembering what you did and how important it is for them in their lives today.
Yeah.
Got to put a smile on your face.
Well, this next one could be interesting if it's who I think it is. I'm going to bring it in. Let's see. You see that, Donnie?
I see it. And how important it is for them.
Look at that.
All right.
Look at that.
All right.
Mr. Art Grabiner.
All right.
All right, go ahead and mute your YouTube video.
Yeah, mute the YouTube.
There we go. Mr. Grabiner, how you doing?
How are you? Fine, pretty good.
Oh,
See that, George?
Yeah.
hey, how you doing?
What's up, Doug?
George, Donnie, how are you? Austin, George, I've got 2 words for you. Roll Tide.
Roll, hey, how about that?
Roll Tide.
They did last night.
Yeah. Listen, before we begin, one quick question, and then I'll turn it over to Dad. 6 days, in 6 days, Saturday, Roll Tide is going to Texas. What do you think? Hook 'em Horns or Crimson Tide?
Well, you know, they have a lead in the series. They beat Alabama more than Alabama beat Texas. But hey, we're gonna clip them Longhorns this Saturday.
Really? You mean this?
Yeah, that's right.
Hook 'em horns. Hey, I'm on the West Coast. I don't understand all that stuff. All I know is that
I don't get it either.
Bowling Green.
Wow, we got 2 World War II veterans on.
I know. How exciting is this? Both of you guys were on our program to Pearl Harbor together for the 80th. Oh, there you go. I see the shirt there.
Got the shirt and everything.
Yeah. Oh man, so much to talk about. Saw you guys in New York a few months back, and I see the pictures, the videos from the Mets game.
Yeah.
Austin, I just sent you a picture of Arthur over at Met Stadium. How did that go?
Well, they beat the Dodgers then, but they're losing now to the Nationals, and they lost to the Nationals last night, and the Braves are right on their heels.
Oh, there it is. Look at that guy.
Oh,
Look at
hey,
that
how
smile.
about that?
That's my hero on the battlefield and on the ball field.
There you go.
Next to Donnie, of course.
Well, George
Hey, you're in.
played professional baseball.
What
He played
position?
for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, George, what position did you play?
Second base.
Second base.
Yeah, I played second base till I got too old to move around, and then I went to catching.
There you go.
And I
You must have some
caught a
good
couple of
knees.
years.
You must have some good knees to be a catcher.
Wow.
Awesome.
Let me tell you this. I participated in baseball and or softball, either playing or coaching, for 9 decades.
Dang.
I took my last softball at bat when I was 93.
Whoa.
Oh, dang.
Huh?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
We
you
gotta
know,
get
we have a farm team, a AA team here in Birmingham, and I think 9/11 is going to be their last day. That's a week from today, and I'm going to get to throw out the first pitch of the ball game.
All right.
Wow.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. That's going to be exciting. Are you going to make it to home plate? That's what I want to know.
Well, I am, but I'm not going to be on the mound.
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to be
Yeah,
between the mound and home plate.
There you go. But you are going to get it to home base. That's good. That's
Yes.
always the question. I mean, you can be 90 feet back, or you can come up close. But no matter what, you're going to make it to home base.
Yeah.
Like,
How about 30 feet?
all right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
That
I
sounds good.
practiced yesterday, and I can throw it 30 feet.
I like it. Like it. Well, I hope I get to see the video. Make sure someone takes some video so we can see that and put up on our social media.
Yeah. So Art, introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are.
Yeah. How exciting is this? We got two
Okay.
big World War II veterans right here.
Yeah.
Okay, George, I'm Yeoman Arthur Gravina, Yeoman second class, request permission to come aboard.
I'm aboard. All right. Hey, but hey, you're talking to another second class. I was a radar man second class.
Yes.
Hey, George, this is a rarity. Dad's not the oldest person on a Zoom call.
Oh, how old
I'm going to be 97. I'm a kid compared to you.
Hey, you hadn't lived yet, have you? Hey, I hadn't lived it. But hey, let me tell you something. You got something to look forward to. 100 is a great, great age to be. And everybody will work for you. You can't do anything because they want to do it for you. You know, you're not able to. So it's just great. You get service that you never thought you'd get before. And hey,
True.
You can hug all the ladies and they won't say anything. Their husbands won't say anything.
I love it.
George,
I love it.
Your
Oh, my
experience, my time in the service in the Pacific, I was on attack transport ship, mirrors what you went through. And we were going from the West Coast to Hawaii along the Great Circle. We go all the way north. Lo and behold, we hit a typhoon and we ended up off the Aleutian Islands, similar to your experience. Now, when we hit storms, nobody was permitted on deck. Everybody had to be below deck, and we carried troops, 1,500 troops, and it gets kind of tight when everybody has to stay below deck. And
I understand that. It's kind of, you get close to each other that way, don't you?
And I'm sure the bathroom's back up and everything's kind of tight.
My son, you went to boot camp. I went to boot camp in Sampson, New York. Now, did you have to jump off the high diving board into the pool?
No, we never went into, we didn't have time.
Uh-huh.
We were there
that's one
long
of the things.
because the only reason we stayed 3 weeks, they couldn't give us enough shots in 2. And when we got all those shots they were given, they said, "Get out of here."
Slap you on the butt and say, "Go get them."
Yeah, go get them.
Jeez.
I remember one time we walked down through a column of medics, and on each side, and one would hit you in the right arm. You'd take about 2 steps and get hit in the left arm. But it was all worth it.
Wow.
We had fun.
Wow. Hey, Arthur, did you also spend 3 weeks in basic, or did you spend a little bit longer time in basic?
2 months in basic.
2 months.
They taught us to follow orders. They taught us when to go to sleep, when to get up, what to eat, what to dress, and how to think. And that's it. If you follow those rules, you were in heaven.
Well, that's what I do at home when my wife tells me what to do, when to get up.
That's how to keep heaven in the household.
There you go.
George was discussing about the depth charges with the whale. What was you had an experience with
We had
at Okinawa?
Our task force were going to Okinawa carrying troops, and the destroyers picked up sonar picked up disturbance below us. With next thing we know, they drop them, bomb, bomb, bomb. They dropped 5 depth charges around us, and a ship vibrated every time the bomb went off. We didn't know they hit anything, and that was it. But we're still here today.
Wow. And that was around Okinawa. That was around Okinawa.
That was Okinawa, March of 45.
Okinawa, we took the troops in. We're there for about 7 days. Saw my kamikaze come hit the ship on the side of us, and it was very interesting to say.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, hey, Art, we got to have you back one of these times and do a live with us where we come on and talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we know that you got the technology.
There you go. You got the technology.
Not all the World War II guys are up to speed on all this.
Well, Doug's been doing a heck of a job, and
Thank you.
And like you said, George, as you get older, it's kind of nice, right? You got everybody taking care of you. You don't have to do anything anymore.
Hey, Donnell, let me tell you, that picture you showed of me dancing there.
Yeah.
What I remember about that day is you and Catherine came up on that stand and sat down on the front row. And the way you treated her, I told someone next to me, I said, that must be newlyweds there, the way he's doting to his wife. And you did. You look like teenage newlyweds.
Well, thank you. We just celebrated our 20-year wedding anniversary this past June 14th on Flag Day. Yeah. So I still feel myself as newlyweds. I'm sure she does as well. I mean, we're together
You are.
all the time, and best defense is here because of her. And she's right here. She's always right here by me. You want to just wave real quick and say hello, just real quick. Just real quick.
Well, we've only got.
Hey, you cut out. That's not her.
No, that's her. Oh yeah. That's not my girlfriend. That's not my girlfriend. That's my wife.
Good to see you all.
She's working out. She just got done working out right now, so she's a little sweaty from the gym, and she doesn't want to come on camera.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, George,
She's a beautiful.
George, when we were at the airport in Honolulu, going to head home from the trip in Pearl Harbor, I came up to you, and I don't know if you remember what I said to you. So earlier that day, you delivered the invocation at the Punch Bowl.
Yeah.
And I told you, if Reverend Billy Graham heard you, he would have said, "Don't put me on after George."
That was good. Very good.
High praise.
Yes, that was a highlight of my trip there, to tell you the truth. Other than meeting Donnie and his wife.
That's awesome.
No, the Punch Bowl ceremony that we did was very special.
It was.
Very, very special.
Sure.
How's your son? I saw him in the background. How's your son? I saw him in the background there.
Yeah.
Oh, is his son there?
Yeah, I saw him walking in the background.
That was my. Hey.
Are you talking about Robbie?
That's Robbie. He's sitting here beside me.
Yeah, that's his caretaker.
Yeah, he's a great one too. He's the best there was.
Have Robbie come on screen real quick and wave.
Come over here, Robbie.
Here I am. Here.
Yeah.
There he is.
Still hanging out like always. Had a great weekend. Good visit. All's well. George is still going strong.
That's
I
right.
Appreciate you guys having him on. It means a lot to him.
Yeah. No.
Good to see you, New York. Go Braves.
Hey, I heard that.
The only thing wrong with that picture you had of the New York, you just had the wrong team.
Oh,
there's another team in New York that I'm fond of.
Uh-oh.
You mean the Jets, the Giants?
Oh, they're not there.
The Rangers.
You mean the Crankies?
Go on, make fun of them. Make fun of them.
Yeah.
Wait till the series starts.
Yeah, Aaron Judge
They're
has
gonna learn.
home runs.
They're gonna learn to hit before that.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn to hit before the All-Star, before the World Series.
One of my favorite parts about the Pearl Harbor trip is when at dinner, Sadat and I would sit with you, George and Robbie, and we would talk SEC football with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was always fun.
Hey, we got the best football team in the country. Hate to say that.
Except for UCLA.
Oh, listen to that.
Hey, listen. In 2 years, George, you and Donnie are going to have something in common. You're both going to be rooting for the SEC teams.
Yeah.
Right there. That's the school.
Look at there.
That's the school.
Yeah.
You guys should see Donnie's football shrine room. It's pretty cool.
I have a simulation. You walk in, I get to tackle you.
Yeah.
No, well, how exciting is this? This is a nice little surprise. This is awesome. And oh, wow, this is great. I know you guys were together in Pearl Harbor and together again. I mean, with technology, it's amazing how we can all come together and still be connected. You know, it was so wonderful during the pandemic, and we're continuing to get these live streams going. And Art, Doug, I'd love to get you on the next one.
Yeah.
We'll
set that up.
Yeah, be great.
Will do, right?
So, Doug, I'll get a hold of you this week, and we'll set up a time.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, George. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
Roll Tide.
All right. Well,
Roll Tide.
Art and Doug, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
All right, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
That was cool.
Oh, Cool.
All right, so we only have, I think, it looks like 3 more people left in here, so we'll bring them in and then we'll call it a day.
All right. Good.
All right,
good.
so let's see. We got our friend from Greece. I always forget how to say his name. And then Isaac, then Matthew. So
all right,
let's bring on Matthew here, and then we'll get the other 2 after that. So Matthew, you're coming in.
Is that a transformer?
Having a good time, George?
Oh, having a ball. Didn't know it was going to be so good.
All right. Speaking of football.
Oh, wow, that was okay. I was half expecting not to get in this.
All right, Matt, you got to follow up on that now.
Okay, how about this? This was my grandfather's. He loved the Navy. He's actually, funny story, my grandfather's cousin wound up being an admiral later, but he was on the USS San Diego during the war. He was did a speed class like you did in basic, except he graduated a year earlier than he was supposed to. He graduated in 43 instead of 44.
Okay. You got a picture of him?
On that, no, yeah, no, but I do have this.
Oh, sweet.
Is that the USS San Diego?
No, it's just the destroyer.
Oh, okay.
Destroyer.
Nice.
And it was camouflage? Looks like it was camouflage.
No, this is just a painting.
Oh, okay. Can't tell from the photo.
Right on. Well, Matthew, introduce yourself to George. You're on live with him.
Hi, George. I'm Matthew. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm 28 years old.
Okay, good.
I always think you're 26 because the first time we met, you were 26. I'm like, he's still 26, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I have a very young face and a young sounding voice, and I'm very broad shouldered, and I do not look like how I sound.
Well, it's funny because like all the other, like the younger ones, we've seen them all grow up, but like you stayed the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Aleutian Islands campaign. You are right. It is a kind of a forgotten campaign of the war. So what was it like when? What was it like finding out that the Japanese had actually taken the Aleutian Islands, and what was it like patrolling that area and kind of being freezing all the time?
It wasn't that bad weather-wise. Because, hey, when you're in something constantly, you get used to it. So that was it. But we felt like we should have stopped them before they got there. But we weren't in that vicinity at the time they invaded at two. And but we knew they wouldn't get out because we stayed right there in the harbor to make sure that they couldn't get out. And that was the only way in and out of there.
So you guys basically so I'm guessing the Navy kind of just boxed them in, and they just basically.
Right. And they'd say, hey, you either give up or die, you know.
They never give up.
That's right. That's right. And that's the reason that I was talking about the President Truman ordering the bomb drop. The Japanese when they had 1 million men on the coast waiting for the invasion, and they wouldn't have backed up a step until the last man was gone. And I'm sure they had reserves behind them.
It would have been even worse because of the civilians. The civilians, if you saw like on Saipan, even on Okinawa, they were the civilians were almost just as suicidal as the soldiers were.
Right. And hey, that brings up another case. People said that we shouldn't have dropped the bomb. It was getting civilian. Did you know that Nagasaki was warned 9 days in a row before the bomb was to be dropped?
They dropped a bunch of pamphlets even before.
Yeah.
And they didn't mention the bomb. They just said, we have this weapon that is very dangerous. Please.
You never seen anything like it before. And I don't know whether they just stayed there or they were ordered to stay there, you know.
So did the pamphlet tell them to flee?
Yeah.
Really?
Now, Now I have a question because I don't know if you two probably know, the Simple History channel did a special on, well, the YouTube channel. They did something on the Aleutian Islands. Were you were you a part of the when they freed Kiska along with Attu?
I don't know. I was up there from November 42 to January of 44. That happened during that time we were there.
Yeah, I imagine it's hard to remember all the events that took place while you were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I wonder why, like, it's kind of forgotten in World War II history, it seems like. Maybe because it was a territory, not a state yet. I mean, back in 42, 43, like during the war, it was a territory, not a state. Become a state, I believe, 1956 or 7 or something like that?
59.
59, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's American soil.
So so did your destroyer participate in the naval bombardment of when the guys were going into Attu?
Well, there was not a lot of bombardment. Yeah, we fired some shells over there, but and I felt sorry for the soldiers who had to invade it, because not only of the weather but the terrain, it was terrible. And we had the easy part, if you want to know.
Yeah.
I've seen, I think I remember I saw PBS, or I looked this up. The island is a lot of mountains. It's a lot of just grassland. And well, the success of Attu, it actually caused the Japanese to leave Kiska, and the only casualties in Kiska were more or less from booby traps and friendly fire.
It was. And we didn't get to stay around. Of course, we weren't on the islands as such, except a couple hours at a time to get supplies or something of that effort. And we called it Liberty, but what can you have when we said the Aleutian Forest? We went to see it. One twig about 4 feet high, and we thought that was the forest. But
So
the
what was
rest of it.
One twig.
So how was it like when you guys finally like liberated the island and just like retook it back? How'd that feel for you guys?
Another day.
Another day.
Another day freezing your asses off in Alaskan waters.
Yeah. No big deal. No big deal. That's crazy. Hey, also, I just sent you a couple of pictures of the Battle of Attu, what we're just discussing right now. And if you look at that, as George says, there was no trees. There was really nothing. It's just kind of barren, and a couple
of prairie, mountains. Yep. Oh yeah, I saw that one when I looked it up.
Is that just ice in the background there? I can't tell.
Other what?
It looked like it was like ice in the background.
Yeah, how did that work for you guys in destroyers when you had like a lot of icy waters in the northern part of the Pacific?
That was ordinary. I remember us breaking ice going into a cove, and when salt water freezes, it's cold.
Yeah.
It was probably half to 3/4 of an inch of ice that we'd break going in there.
Dang.
And hey, again.
Oh wow.
Again, you get used to it.
Yeah.
See that on that hill behind there, there's no trees or anything there.
Yeah, it looks pretty barren.
Yeah.
Wow. So you recognize that landscape there?
No, not really.
You can find photos of the harbor. You probably remember that.
Yeah.
Battle in Dutch Harbor. Did you guys go into Dutch Harbor?
Yes, we were there.
So that box, I think they, trying to remember, that was 40, 43, 42.
40. I think they invaded, didn't they get in Dutch Harbor in 42?
Yep, I believe so.
It was a distraction. The reason they invaded the Aleutians was to sort of draw the fleet away from Midway.
Right.
They took the Aleutians.
That's all. That's what it was for.
Yep. The
version
version
worked out that way.
Midway.
Yep. June 42. Yep. That's right. June 3rd and 4th, 42.
I actually remember there was only a weather station located on one of the islands. And funny story, when the Army guys showed up there, they didn't find the Japanese, but they found the dog. They found the weather station's dog that was there.
Yeah, they did. I remember reading about that or hearing about it.
That's probably kind of small, but can you see that, George?
Yeah, I can see that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Familiar?
I sent you a picture right now. This is Dutch Harbor, what it looks like today. So just a little perspective right now. So
okay, yeah. Hold on a second. Let me put that up.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of see it. So they still have, some of the remnants there a little bit. I would love to visit.
That looks beautiful. Look at that bunker still there. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Dutch Harbor?
Yeah, this is Dutch Harbor. You know what's funny is I'm here in San Diego, and I'm literally like 4 miles from the coast, of California. And during World War II, like in neighborhoods in Solana Beach in Cardiff, there's bunkers that are in the wall. In the hill of these houses. So my friends who have houses that are right on the cliff there's bunkers that you can go into this day, right at their house. Yes.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I know, it's crazy. It's still there. It's all along the coast. If you go all along the coast, all the way down to Point Loma and Imperial Beach, all the way up. It's amazing.
The World War II bunkers?
World War II bunkers. That's right.
Have you ever seen the film 1941 by Spielberg? It's kind of like one of his comedy moments. It's sort of about because at the time it's kind of like about that hysteria, because as George will point out, that was one of the big concerns was after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese invading or attacking the West Coast. And they actually did wind up sinking or actually hitting some Japanese submarines off the coast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And if they had kept
playing on something,
if the Japanese had kept coming, we didn't have anything to stop them either.
Oh, dang.
At that time.
Well, we had you and your brothers and sisters to stop them. Thank God, because that we live today. There's George, there is a little series that was on, I think it was on Amazon Prime, about World War II, if it was different, if the Germans would have won and the Japanese.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
What was it called again?
Man on High Tower?
Man on the High Castle. Man in the High Castle.
Man on the High Castle, yeah.
Yeah, so they divided. So the West Coast was run by the Japanese, and then the East Coast was run by the Germans. It's pretty interesting. I only saw one season. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. I'm a
series.
I love those. You gotta love those like what if stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. Very true. All right. Well, Matthew, it was always good to see you. You got anything else you want to say?
No, I'll give someone else a chance. It's really an honor talking to you, sir. And also, really honor talking to you guys.
And you as well, always.
I also wanted to pay my respects. I just saw the Instagram post about Dean Ladd. I'm sorry about that.
Did you get to meet Dean Ladd when we did the live with him?
I always rewatch that video because that was the first one I got in.
Yeah, Dean was a very special guy to us. For me especially, because he's one of the only World War II veterans actually from where I live. So I always got to pick him up, take him to the airport, and we went on the news together several times, and I spent a lot of time with Dean. So that was, and I went to his funeral yesterday, and it was emotional, like,
Dean Ladd.
Yeah.
No, Dean's special. I'm wearing this shirt. This is our Iwo Jima shirt.
Yeah.
Our red Marine Corps shirt for Dean Ladd today.
I wore my red shoes to his funeral yesterday. I don't usually wear red shoes to a funeral, but his daughter was like, I like the red shoes.
Yeah, he always said I was the oldest living Marine officer.
Oldest retired Marine.
Retired.
Oldest living retired Marine.
Retired. Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's right.
He's with his family and buddies now.
Yeah.
He's
back. 75. Always faithful. And I'll never forget the stories that he was telling us in Saipan. And I mean, his knowledge when we're in Saipan, he's looking at this ridge, and you were there, Austin. He's talking about the ridge and how he had to come. I mean, it's never forget. I'm just really happy that we gave him the opportunity to go back to those battlefields and experience that. And you can everybody watching right now, you can get Dean's book, deanladd.com, right, Austin?
Go to my website. At his funeral yesterday, people writing down things that they remember about Dean, and there was so many people that were just anytime you talk to him, what did he say? And the whole crowd goes, go to my website.
I'll never forget at the airport, and I think you guys came through Denver, right? In 2018 or I'm not sure, 19. You guys come to the airport, and the pilot comes on the speaker and is announcing Dean Ladd, and he gives over the mic to Dean, and the first thing he says, go to my website, buy my book. Yeah, but it's amazing. His books are fantastic.
I know.
Always, I have it right over here. His books are fantastic.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, read his book, and special man, and we'll always remember Dean Ladd, and definitely gonna watch the tribute video you did, Austin. So again, incredible job, Austin, on the videos.
And I recommend rewatching that live talk, because that was one of my highlights.
For sure.
Yeah.
So in honor of Dean, go to his website, buy his book, Faithful Warriors, and it'll answer all your questions.
And I just hope you two keep doing this, because this is really just a treat for me and everyone in the comments section.
We're gonna keep doing it.
We all love talking to these guys. They're the best.
As long as they're still here, we'll keep talking to them.
Awesome. All right. Well, have a good day.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. See you, buddy.
Bye.
All right. You still doing good, George?
I'm still here.
All right. We got a couple more, and then we'll
we got two more
today.
We got two more. You can finish your day.
All right. We got our buddy from Greece coming in, all the way from Greece.
Say his name, Austin.
I can't say his name.
All right, George, you have to say his name.
Can you read that, George?
Read his name. What's it say?
No, I don't see anything here. That is
right on the bottom, it says his name. I give you
Donnie
the first
Edwards.
letter. I give you the
Donnie
first.
Edwards.
Hey.
No.
Now I can say that. Yeah, Donnie Edwards. That's the name I got.
That's
pretty one. Pretty easy traditional name.
Best Defense Foundation.
There you go. What about the other one?
All right. Come on, George. Read that name out loud to us.
Yep.
Where is it?
Just wait a minute. Give it a second.
It's loading. I want to see you pronounce this name correctly, George.
Okay. Let it come up here. Your name keeps coming up, Donnie, on my screen.
Oh, he's probably got it. He probably doesn't have on the Foursquare view. He's probably.
Yeah. So tap the screen, and then go to. You can go to the four screen, so you can see everybody together. You don't have that? Just tap the screen. It's on the left-hand side of the screen. You tap the screen. It says Foursquare. Or
there we are.
All right.
Yeah.
Read his name.
About Atidio geographic. Hey Joe, how you doing?
He's gonna call you Joe.
He's calling you Joe. Tell him your name.
Okay.
Where you're from and how old you are.
Can you hear us?
You hear us? Oh, he's delayed. He's listening.
I think he's listening to the YouTube.
Yeah. He's on YouTube.
He doesn't even realize.
He's listening to my pronunciations, I guess.
You're on the YouTube. Go on the Zoom.
We can't hear you.
Go on the Zoom.
Oh, he's talking, but he's only listening to YouTube, so we can't hear him.
He's confused. He's on the
Oh,
YouTube.
in about 10 seconds, he'll get it.
Yeah. He's heard us like on a 10-second delay.
That's hilarious.
It's gonna kick in right about now.
Like, I love it. Like,
3, 2, 1.
love
Watch
that.
his face. Watch his face. He'll be like, oh man, what am I doing?
oh no, we can't hear him. That probably just made his day though. Like 15 seconds later, he's like, he gets it.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Uh-oh. Well,
Bummer.
Bummer.
Yeah, we still hadn't got him.
Yeah.
No.
Well, okay. So you try and figure that out. We'll bring you back in at the end, okay?
All right, you be the last one.
Yeah. So stay on. We'll bring you on the end, but we just can't hear you. We got nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So
George, that was a pretty good job at pronouncing his name because Austin tried and we just
Atencio Geographic Joe.
But that's Geographic Joe. I like it.
All right. So let's bring in Isaac.
All right.
Hopefully he can hear. We can hear him.
There he is.
Hey,
All
we can hear you. All right. How's it going, Isaac?
Hello.
You are live with Mr. George Hamilton.
It's nice.
Where are you from and how old are you?
My name is Isaac Bly, and I am 18, and I am from Minneapolis, but I'm currently in London.
Oh, wow.
London.
Yeah. My college starts tomorrow, so.
Oh, wow.
College abroad, huh?
Labor Day tomorrow. Tomorrow's a holiday. I don't know if it's Labor Day in London, but
Don't think so.
no, it's not at all. It's a labor.
Actually,
You are laboring tomorrow, your test.
yeah, no, it's first day of class, but yeah.
Nice. Well, cool. Good to meet you.
Thanks.
And, have you been on before? I can't remember.
Yeah, I have. I was on
That's right.
for Neil.
That's
I was
right.
on with Neil McCallum and a couple other people. I was there for the Vincent Speranza sing along.
Oh,
yeah.
that
was awesome.
That was so much fun. I remember that. That was so much fun.
That was crazy.
Yeah. that was
Chaotic.
fun.
Well, cool. Good to see you again. And the floor is yours.
Hello, Mr. Hamilton.
Hey,
How's your day going, actually?
uh,
How's your day going?
oh, hey, it couldn't be better. The last hour has been so great. And then I had fun. I had a lot of fun before then.
Yeah.
2 hours. We've been on for 2 hours now.
Yeah. 2 hours, George.
We having fun, right?
Time flies.
He's been having so much fun. He lost track
gracious.
of time.
I didn't realize that. I
It
thought
goes
it
by
was about
fast.
45 minutes. Had a great time.
Goes by fast.
Great. Well, go ahead, Isaac. You got some questions for Mr.
Yeah.
Hamilton?
I just have like two short questions, and then I
Yeah.
have one final question that he's
Go
working.
for it.
Do you remember how you learned about the war during the war, like at sea? Because a lot of people, they watch movies and stuff, but how did you learn about the war?
Yeah, there was no social media. How did you find out about what was going on in the war?
How did you
find
learn
out
what was going on
in
at the war presently while you were in the war?
Stars and Stripes?
Going on.
What? How did I feel?
No, how did you
I don't know.
get your
Like, how
news?
did you know what was
How did you
going
learn what
on
was
in the
going
war?
on
Oh.
during the war?
During the war, what was going on?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get your information? How'd you know what was happening? If you're winning or losing or anything, like what was going on? Was it Stars and Stripes?
Only we had Stars and Stripes, but
Tell people what that is. Like, for people who don't know what the Stars
it was,
and Stripes is.
that was a military paper, is what it was for the
Okay.
military, and we got a lot of information from there. But when we were at sea, we didn't get any we didn't get any information because everything was secret back in those days, and you didn't communicate with anybody in the war zone or ships or anything.
Your only
We couldn't
concern was
communicate with
Your
anyone.
ship.
That's right.
You only knew what was
And-
going on with your ship.
If you wrote a letter, it was censored before it left the ship, and they didn't
It had to
mind
be
cutting them
read?
up. Beg pardon?
who read? It's like somebody actually had to read all your letters.
Yeah. Well, the executive officer of our ship was the one who read most of them.
Oh wow.
And because he always told me that when we got back to the States, he was going to go on Liberty with me because he wanted to see all them women I was writing to.
Oh man, George, you are the crack up.
But we never did make it. But we just picked it up here and there. And when you were in the States, you had radio broadcasts, of course, and that was the main source of information.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, the news that got out in the media was actually censored in Washington. They told them what they could put out and what they could not put out.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It was that way during that time. And that's hard for me to watch the war as it's broadcast today. You know, you're right there with them with the camera. And we didn't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in terms of music as well, right? Because like, you know, music is something that, you know, that we all love and feel. I mean, especially during World War II, all the music that was coming out. You guys didn't have access to, you know, iPhones and iPods.
You just had to sing.
Yeah.
You just had to sing.
I mean,
that's the one thing I learned.
Like record players, you have like any records on there? Were you able to listen to music while on ship?
Oh.
Yeah. Some days we did, mostly holidays. But if you was in the war zone, you didn't.
Yeah.
I remember we were in Seattle in dry dock one time, and I believe it was New Year's Day, and they had 12 hours of big band music, because big bands in World War II was a thing, and each band would have 30 to 40 to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, and we sat by the radio. You know, in those days, we only had radio, didn't have any TV. And if a good program would come on, everybody would pull up chairs and get around and look at that radio while you was listening to it, as if that helped.
Oh, like, so you're watching the radio like it's a TV, like.
That's right.
It's like on a Christmas store where they gather around the radio and they're all like intently looking at it. But they're just listening.
I didn't even think about that. Just like,
but you know, you could, and while you were listening to it, you formed your own pictures in your mind, and if your mind is according to where your mind was, what your picture was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
everybody was watching a different program in their head.
During the radio broadcast, I never saw an ugly woman. They were all beautiful.
And it all looked like
all in your head.
That's right.
Well, that's pretty interesting, though. I mean, you think about the technology, like you said, like how the war is now, right? Because I think Vietnam was the first conflict that we were in where there was cameras and we can see it live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in every conflict or war since then has just been like just right in our face. It's just different, just interesting. Like the things that we went through, what you guys went through, and where we are today. It's just amazing. Just how we receive information. You know, photos and pictures, because I'm sure there's a number of things, you know, in your lifetime that you wish you had a photo of, but you didn't have, you know, a device like this, you know, just to take a quick picture. You know, I mean, it's an actual, like, it was like you had to have a camera, you had to have film, you had to take it in. I mean, it's just just interesting.
Secrets now.
Yeah, in your lifetime, in 100 years, it's incredible how much technology has changed. You know, up to this day, it's incredible.
And you know, my generation has seen all the changes. To where it is today.
I mean, George, we have drones. We have drones that are flying like by themselves now. We have ships now. Like we have ships now that are in the seas now that are all drones that are controlled. There's nobody on it, you know, and you can control anyone in the world.
Did they fire the rocket yesterday, or you're gonna be tomorrow?
No, I got delayed.
To the moon with nobody on it to take pictures.
Got delayed again. There was a leak in the hydrogen yesterday, so it got delayed Yeah,
We
unfortunately.
landed a probe on a comet in space.
I know,
The
how crazy.
Rosetta Stone mission, the Rosetta mission.
Oh man, we're crazy.
I just have two more questions. They're
Go
pretty
for it.
short. The second one is, you know, what was your experience with the merchant mariners? Because they're they always felt like they didn't get a lot of
Yeah.
voice.
Well, they were not treated right. They were as much a part of the war as the Coast Guard, the Navy, any seagoing thing. The Merchant Marine, and hey, they didn't have any armament.
They didn't get uniforms.
They was a floating target, is what they were. And I admire the people who man the stations for the Merchant Marine.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think about. It's like it's just I don't need to tell you were there.
Yeah, Austin, have we had a merchant marine with us on program? Or
I feel like we did, like many years ago. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Last question I was saying is want to ask is like, what do you want us to remember?
What do you want to remember?
What do you want future generations to remember?
Yeah.
That we were there when we were needed. And we did accomplish some things that's positive. And most of all, I think I would rather for them to remember us as patriots more than anything else, I guess. Because, you know, we think of, for instance, George Washington was a great leader in the military before he became president. And I would say that he would have been as proud of that as he was to be the president, because he did things on his own for the country. And I guess what I'd like for them to remember us is that we did what we did to ensure other people that they had freedom to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I know what you mean. Freedom of choice is something, but also just as a side note, not just for World War II veterans in general, but like you personally.
We'd rather be known as helpers than receivers, if you get what I mean.
For sure.
I'd rather do something for you than to say what I've heard since then, what's in it for me, you know. I don't think that was our generation. What's in it for me? What's good for the country? I think is the best thing that I would like for them to remember me by. That I did what I thought was best for the country.
Thank you very much, George.
Okay. Yeah, and hopefully as Americans, George, that we can understand that and start looking at that from a different perspective than what we look at it right now, unfortunately. So polarizing, like what's good for the country. I think if everybody, no matter where you come from, what you look like, whatever, what's good for the country, you know, understand that we're all bonded and connected by this flag here. We all come from different walks of life, but the one thing that brings us together is the red, white, and blue flag. And that's,
yes, what he's holding there is what we are proud of. And I can say my thoughts that I think I would represent most of the veterans. United States is still the best country in the world. And if you don't like it, move somewhere else. But that what Don is holding there is the United States. And anybody that disrespects the flag is spitting in the face of every veteran who ever lived. Because that's what we fought for, the freedom of that flag. Wow. And if you want to know, every time I see a flag or military unit going by, I stand up, I get an inch taller because I stand straighter. And the hairs on my back of my neck still stand at attention when the flag goes by.
Wow.
Well, we have a flag coming to you through one of our sponsors, Allegiance Flags, brand new flag that we are going to present to you here shortly. So we'll be in contact with you, and it's a beautiful flag. And I think you'd be very proud to have a brand new red, white, and blue flag flying at your house.
Great.
Nice. You gonna string it up for him?
Beg your pardon?
I was gonna say, you gonna string it up for him?
Well, we'll have Robbie do that for us.
Yeah.
He's already got a flagpole, I assure you. He's got a, it'll be neat to have a new one, but he's got a flagpole and flies the flag year round.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Give him a nice shiny new one.
That's one thing. That's kind of this. Before I go, it's kind of interesting. I always found as a lot of World War II veterans, I know more than the other veterans have American flags. Like not like on the like sometimes have inside their house, but like also just a regular flag, just in the ground, straight up.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, cool. It's good to see you
All right.
again. Thanks for coming by. You got one
Thank
last
you.
thing you want to say?
It's kind of hard to explain, but I really do appreciate what you did, and meeting with you and other veterans has really helped me, and it's made me kind of understand what I want to do, and I want to help carry on that legacy. Like that's why I'm in London, because of the veteran meetings I had 2 years ago with your other comrades like Neil McCallum, and I'm really glad I got to be able to see you before I started college, because this is kind of how I started, like really wanting to get into college. So I'm really grateful
awesome.
for you.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Make sure you finish
I
your
won't-
Thank you.
email with your information, and we'll get you on board. We're creating something, and definitely want to get you on board. It's going to be great. It's awesome. Keeping history alive.
Yeah. Get you an
Yeah.
updated shirt too. You probably got an old one.
Yeah.
You got new swag.
Hopefully I'll see you again.
All right. Cool.
Thanks for
Thanks,
coming by.
Isaac.
Isaac, it's good to see you, and it was a pleasure to serve for you, and you're worth it.
Thank you. I was glad to have you.
That's awesome. I love it.
Amazing.
Love it. Calling in all the way from London. See,
Wow.
that's what like that situation right there, Donnie. This is what I think of every time we do this. Like, how is this going to affect somebody, like, and change even the course of their life? Like he just said, like he's doing what he's doing because of the conversation he had with us and Neil 2 years ago. Like, how cool is that? Like,
Wow.
I
Wow. 2
love
years ago, he was in high school, and now all of a sudden he's in college in London.
yeah.
Oh,
And doing something that, he's going in a direction because of an inspiration that he got 2 years ago talking to Neil McCallum, and that's just so cool.
yeah, it's pretty special. But it goes back to
love
what you said, George. It goes back to what you said, George. It's not what you can receive; it's what you can offer and serve, give back. And we're doing this.
This is how we serve.
Yeah, it's incredible when we hear stories like this. Just makes me feel. I mean, it makes us feel great. All of the volunteers and the team at Best Defense Foundation. I'm telling you, it's special. I'm glad to be part of an incredible team.
Yes.
Hey, that's you've got a great organization.
Good
And a
stuff.
lot of beautiful ladies.
There you go.
Michael, you there?
Don't
Mike.
forget that. Oh.
Michael's on the moon.
Yeah, dude, that looks so weird. Like that light over his head.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, George? I'm doing good.
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just spending time with you and watching the live stream. So
Very cool. Okay, I think we were going to bring you on earlier, but then you disappeared from the lobby.
yeah, I got my internet got some problems. So
All right, well, you're
now it's
back.
so.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to make it. So thank you very much for putting it back on.
All right, so go ahead and introduce yourself to George.
All right. Hello, George. I'm from Ontario, Canada, just north of the border, and I'm 20 years old.
All the way from Canada.
All the
Yeah.
way from Canada.
He's 20.
And
Okay.
Young man.
Young.
They,
Your age.
the Canadians introduced me to ice hockey. I love it.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear.
All right, well, Michael, You're on with George.
Yeah,
Floor
I
is
just have
yours.
one question. I just have one question, and then I gotta get going. But my question is, how did your parents react to you joining the Navy in 1942?
I'm sure that they hid their feelings for me, but they were happy that I was going in the Navy and that I had joined the Navy. And not, we had a horror back in those days, most people did, of being drafted. I didn't want to say I was drafted to have to go in because I couldn't help it. I wanted to join the Navy, and I think that's where most volunteers were. We couldn't wait to get in there and not be drafted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Just another question on that as well. Did you consider any of the other branches, like the Army Air Corps, Army, or the Marine Corps? I mean, why'd you choose the Navy?
Well, I guess the surprise was I went to work one morning and my boss was not there, and I asked where he was, and they said he joined the Navy. And I said, that's good enough for me. So I went the next morning and joined myself.
How old was your boss?
He was probably in his late 20s.
Okay.
And he went in the CBs as a chief. I think he went in as a chief petty officer.
Okay.
We were in an engineering crew on the highway. I was working with the state highway department, and we were in an engineering crew. And he left to go in the Navy to help build the landing strips on islands and so forth and so on, what the CBs did. And I wanted to follow him. I thought that much of him. He had that much. I respected him and his work for that much to go away.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
But no, I never thought about joining the Army or the Marines for the reason I said a while ago. I wanted a place to sleep, and if I didn't have one, I didn't need it because I wouldn't have been there.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Well, cool. Michael, is there anything else you wanted to say before you go?
I'm just going to say thank you once again for this opportunity to speak to the George Hamilton and also other veterans. And I also just like to thank George, taking time out of his Sunday to speak to us all around the world. It's really amazing we had this opportunity. So thank you once again, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. And it was my privilege, my pleasure to have served in the Navy, and you were worth it. And as far as today, I've had a ball. I have enjoyed it more than anybody else has. I don't know what
I'm having a good time, George. I don't know. I'm loving this.
No better way.
Hey, always look on the bright side of things. Don't ever look on the bad side. Look at the bright side and you'll feel better.
He's got nothing but the bright side on him right now. He's just
Yeah.
he's glowing. He's glowing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Michael, we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.
George, did you enjoy it?
Well,
Yeah.
We got one straggler in here. We got time for one more? Donnie's tired.
No. I gotta use the restroom.
Oh, go use the restroom. You come back. We'll bring him on. You go do your thing. All right. We'll see you in a minute. Donnie's always gotta use the restroom. All right, we're gonna bring in Kyle. Let's see. I like Donnie's little army man in his office that just showed up.
Oh yeah.
He's got a full-size army man in there.
Is that
Whenever he
right?
goes off camera, that thing becomes the subject. It's so funny. I like that you thought we'd only been doing this for like 45 minutes, George. That tells me you're having a good time.
I am. I didn't.
We've been going a long time.
I didn't realize it had been that long. To tell you the truth.
almost 2.5 hours now.
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
I know. I love it. I love it. Well, it looks like
Kyle's not gonna come
looks
on.
like
is he?
Kyle might not be there anymore. So let's see if our friend what I can't even remember what you called him. Joe. We'll call him Joe.
Okay.
Let's see if he's got his audio fixed out.
Okay.
I thought I was a ship on the water, had so much water.
All right. Can we hear you? Talk. Can you hear us? He's still on that YouTube.
I think he's on the YouTube. Yeah, he's on the YouTube.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, you got to turn off the YouTube and go to the Zoom so you can talk and listen.
Oh, bummer. Bummer. We always have good conversations with our Greek friend here, but
yeah.
All right. We can't hear you, bud. So we'll have to get it worked out for next time. All right.
All right.
Well, I guess we'll just have to end it there. But what a show. What a show we had here today. I love when some people call it a show. Like, thanks for putting me on the show. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
We're just hanging out. Well, George.
I didn't know what to expect, but hey, it's been a ball for me. I don't know
For sure.
whether I did what you wanted me to do or not, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, you did exactly what we wanted. But George, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for your service. Every time we get to interact with you, it's a pleasure, and I was so excited to have you on here. So
okay,
we love you, George. Yeah, we love you. Always
I'm just waiting on the next trip.
All right.
So are we.
Ready. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, George, Donnie, do you have anything, last things you want to say?
No, I just want to say I hope you had a great time today. There's a lot of young kids all around the world that I'm sure it gives you hope, as it gives me hope too, that they remember and they're going to continue your legacy and a legacy of your brothers and sisters that served in World War II, to know that we will never forget. So it puts a smile on my face. I'm sure it does for you. And it's been an honor, sir, to spend the last 2.5 hours with you together. So looking forward to the next one.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing, Donnie, you and your lovely wife, for veterans.
Yeah.
I can speak for all of them. Everybody loves you and your wife and what you're doing for World War II veterans. We appreciate it so very much.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We have a great team. We have a great team. Defense. We have an incredible team, and I'm proud to serve.
All right.
For sure.
And I'm gonna talk to one of your ladies either tonight or tomorrow. Amanda.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I'm gonna call her and talk to her a little bit and see how she's doing, how she's faring without me.
All right. Well, sounds good. We have something in the pipeline for later this month that I'm sure she's going to talk to you about as well. Has to do with this.
Hey, that's good. That's good stuff there.
Good coffee. Black Coffee. They're amazing company and great coffee. We'll be in contact for sure. Well, it's been a pleasure, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
we'll let Geographic Joe know that
okay.
you missed him. Geographic Joe, I'm from Greece.
Yeah, he'll learn.
He'll learn real fast. All right, George. Well, thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.